Every day, Suella Braverman is becoming a bigger problem for Rishi Sunak and his cabinet, as she's now joining the Brexiteer side to warn the Prime Minister over the Northern Ireland Protocol negotiations. Yes, the rogue member of Rishi Sunak's cabinet, Suella Braverman. She's very outspoken, she's very independently minded, and she doesn't really just go with the machine. She's temporarily, at least, gone against the collective responsibility of the cabinet and the ministers. It's not the first time that she's been politically incorrect, at least. Recently, she went against and warned against the child migrant rules, saying the child migrant rules is a gift to the gangs. Now, I'm not really sure how you can actually deal with this when you're trying to be a very politically correct government and you're trying to keep the media happy, and you have a Home Secretary who's very robust with her language. Now she's joining Boris Johnson. Now, this isn't really about some sort of pro-Boris thing because, as you know, I'm not really a fan of Boris, and he's doing this for his own advantage. He's going against Rishi to bring him down, and he's using the Brexit negotiations over Northern Ireland Protocol that he signed. But there is, all that aside, there's a point to it. So Suella is now backing Boris Johnson, and she's still in the cabinet, which is absolutely fascinating. She hasn't been sacked yet. There is every possibility that could happen. But also, Rishi can't really just randomly sack her, because he will alienate the right wing of the party even further. By doing that, the whole thing will completely collapse. But this is about what Suella has been saying behind Rishi's back. She said the NI Protocol bill is one of the biggest tools that we have in solving the problem on the Irish Sea. So we cannot completely sacrifice everything that we worked for, and we can't really make more concessions. The whole deal was us making concessions. It wasn't the European Union. We cannot make a deal in the name of trade that would completely betray the integrity of our kingdom. You can't. The priority is now to bring Northern Ireland back into the country, because right now it's not. Right now it's part of the European Union. And, the only reason not many people have been kicking off about this is because of that culture, the toxic culture of media that doesn't really talk about innocent people who live in Northern Ireland. So people are living their lives in London, in Manchester, in Yorkshire, everywhere, in Cornwall. We don't even think about Northern Ireland. And that is absolutely sad. We just pretend that it's somewhere else. It's just, it doesn't really relate to us. It's because the way the discussion works in the media, in the political establishment, they don't really give you the exposure that is needed when it comes to the concerns of people in Northern Ireland. We need definitely more attention when it comes to politics in Northern Ireland and everything else, and cultural issues and societal problems. But no one cares. I mean, not no one, we care, but we're talking about the mainstream idiots. So, this is quite weird because obviously Rishi Sunak is completely collapsing right now when it comes to his leadership. He was forced a couple of days ago to pause the negotiations because the DUP as a party in Northern Ireland and the senior Brexiteer Tories are threatening to destroy him. And the way it's going, they're not going to come up with a solution that is going to be a win-win for anybody. So either he's going to bring himself down, this could be his downfall, or he's going to somehow betray Northern Ireland without being seen as that he's betrayed them, or he's going to basically bribe DUP with something else to keep them quiet. But again, these people in the DUP, they have conviction. They're not going to completely surrender to any sort of bribery. But again, it's very, very difficult to see. Also, it's interesting that it's not just Suella. Even Penny Mordaunt is now supportive of what Boris Johnson is saying. Something is happening. Something is definitely happening right now in the cabinet and in the party. She said, she was asked whether Boris Johnson and his intervention, is it helpful as a former prime minister when it comes to these negotiations? So the majority of the advisors and all the people in Downing Street have been briefing the papers saying, no, it's very bad. Boris should stop talking. Suella publicly backed Boris, She's in the cabinet. Penny Mordaunt is in the cabinet, and she came out and said, yes, his comments are definitely helpful. Penny Mordaunt, she's a liberal globalist, but don't forget, with all her faults, she was a Brexiteer. She was definitely part of Vote Leave, and she was a true Brexiteer. She's just more of a liberal Brexiteer, but she's still a Brexiteer. She cares about sovereignty. Yes, and she's still a globalist. But something is definitely happening when you have a right-winger like Suella and a liberal like Penny publicly, essentially, gossiping about the current boss, Rishi Sunak, or sending some sort of warning to the leadership of the party and governments. So we don't know exactly what's going to happen, but I think something is going to be occurring very, very soon. Let me know what your predictions and speculations are with this situation and how it's going to be affecting Rishi Sunak's leadership. I'm Mahyar Tousi, and we are the media.